It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Captain Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Wanna be held tight? Well, now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT.
Heat of the night on TNT.
Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT.
I have not drank since 1986. Haven't done a drug since 1986. But let me tell you, these purple Sharpies,
They'll get you every time.
I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be silly, but watch out for this stuff. Now, the black ones are all right, the red ones, the green, the yellow. You open up this purple Sharpie,
I
and
can smell it over here.
you can't you?
Yeah,
Can't?
absolutely.
Woo! Yeah! Oh, like that screen's melting, Larry. Killing some time as Guillermo. You're still not going to slide into your seat yet. He's in there pulling levers, pushing buttons. Anyway, hey, historical figure passed away. Yes, before we get into, the political stuff. Well, it is political stuff to a certain degree, but Mikhail Gorbachev
Yes.
passed away. What was he, 91?
91.
And, he's featured in our opening when President Reagan says,
Last president of the Soviet Union.
yes, and really presided over the beginning of the breakup of the Soviet Union, which Vladimir Putin said was one of the darkest days in the history of mankind, was the breakup of the Soviet Union. I think you'll find a little bit of debate on that. But, God put certain people in positions of leadership for a reason.
Right.
And I don't know if there was another premier prior to him. I mean, we remember the day when Khrushchev took off his shoe, pounded on the podium, and scared us all to death. Us kids going, "We will bury you," and we have the nuclear weapons to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
And to Gorbachev, who was is it prescient or prescient? Prescient, being able to look into the future, to Karnak a little forward, if you will, to see that basically the Soviet Union was done. That communism, pure communism, does not work.
He had a Western heart and mind in an Eastern bloc. And so that's the reason the transition took place. Mm-hmm. So, if you really look back at the history of Gorbachev, it was pretty amazing. I mean, what everything we tried for the entire time the Soviet Union existed didn't work. Mm-hmm. And it's a great example for us because from inside it got split up. Mm-hmm. America is facing the same thing.
I agree with you. 100%. And I think you want to talk about a template for countries that are rivals, some would call enemies. We have never face-to-face fought the Soviet Union. In fact, the last time we were in combat with each other, we're strong allies during World War II.
Exactly.
Then these proxy wars happen. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of these young people think we've been having hot wars with Russia.
Never.
And we never have.
No.
And when
Thank the Lord.
No, but when you tell them they're so ill-informed by the school systems that don't teach history anymore, they think Japan, when you tell them, Japan were mortal enemies. The people of Japan, or at least the imperial Japan and Germany, and all they know is of being allies. And it's just that's why history is so important, isn't it, Larry?
No, it really is. You're doomed to make the same mistakes if you don't learn from history.
Yeah.
And besides loving history, I love the intricacies of what was going on.
Yeah.
And I always try to separate the leadership of a country from the people of the country, because you and I both know there are some fantastic people in every country that are just remarkable.
Most of them.
Most of them
are not in the military, and most of them are not in the political party.
And that craziness, exactly.
People think that you're either Republican or Democrat. Most of them are not. Or either one.
Most of them don't want to be either one.
Hey, I'll raise my hand to that, brother. I mean, it's craziness out there. But anyway,
you demonstrated that by signing up for independent.
Yeah, I tell you, I just got tired of and it was just my own way of feeling good about where I decided to put myself politically. Yep. I didn't join the Democratic Party, never will. If you had to put me in a box, I've said this more, if I don't like boxes.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that to people. Political parties like to do that.
They do.
And they tell you if you don't give your money every cent you got and you try to step out of this box called our platform, you're not good a Democrat or you're not good Republican. All right? Just know that about yourself. Shameful. Just shut up, be obedient, and go and pull the right lever.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dot and I have probably given to 20 different people over the last 2 years, within different parties. And we get a note from them that I'm about to die if you don't send 25.
Yeah, one of those Nigerian emails. I'm stuck in a jail in Nigeria. If you don't send me now,
money, Mom.
send money. And they have names of the people that you know, and you call them up. Are you Nigeria?
Yeah.
I'm not in Nigeria. I'm over here down in Cayucas, riding the waves.
I'm sitting with Mom right here. So.
Yeah, watching the Heat of the Night reruns.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I did kind of that same. I knew better than to do this, but I got kind of infatuated with this fellow John Kennedy out of Louisiana.
He's fascinating.
He's fascinating. Down home humor, just a lot of common sense. Not the John Kennedy of obviously, and I don't think any relation down there. I don't think the Kennedy clan from Hyannisport had any hidden relatives there in
doesn't have a northeastern accent.
in Slidell, Louisiana. Exactly. But anyway, I got kind of infatuated with the guy. I thought he had a lot of common sense. So I checked their campaign. They got a website, and you can leave comments on the website. So I put in there who I was, I'm born in Louisiana, Shreveport, former mayor. We still got a lot of fans in Louisiana.
Very
and I know,
much so.
and I would like to help the campaign. I'd be willing to come to Louisiana and help the senator in this tough Senate race he's got coming up. And I should have known better. I sent that thing off. All I have gotten for the last year is requests going, please help stop the radical left. Send money. Send money. That $10 you have under your pillow could be put to no better use than put the John Kennedy campaign. If you love America, send it. And I'm going, they don't even read that. That's all we are. That's what's wrong with the political parties.
Yeah.
You're just a dollar sign to them.
No personal connection anymore.
Yeah, you're just a freaking dollar sign. And they will gladly.
I got to correct you on that.
What?
It's a $25 sign.
Oh gosh, yes, that's a minimum.
That's a minimum.
Did you know that? You see, that's where Republicans are getting their butt kicked because Democrats are raising, $5, $10 on the internet.
Yeah.
And people feel like they're $5. Hey, that matters. But anyway, I just should have known better. I shook my head, but ICE is still supporting him. I'm not going to let the fact that he's campaigning. Now, I doubt that. Well, I know that website message never got to John Kennedy.
Right.
But that's again to me is a little microcosm of what's wrong.
Now, doesn't it drive you crazy when the guy reading it going, "Who's Alan Autry?"
Yeah, it's a little humble pie there too, But see, I take solace in the fact it probably wasn't an individual; it was one of these AI.
Oh yes,
artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
but they would know more than
they probably would.
Intelligence.
Yeah, see, that's what I got to program all this artificial intelligence to come Heat of the Night fans.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Chicago WX.
I'll encrypt in there more residuals. Get AI out there campaigning for more residuals.
What is that
Autry.
station you're on 16 times a day out of Chicago?
Oh, it was WGN, but they're not carrying it anymore.
Oh, is that right?
No, they dropped us.
Oh,
after
man.
all these years, but we're on Bounce.
Oh, yes.
Have you
I've
heard
seen
of
it on
Bounce?
Yes.
Yeah, it's who's owns that is Andrew Young, I believe.
Is that right?
Is he still living, Andrew Young?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I used to watch.
But one of the great civil rights
WGN,
leaders of the '60s there.
Yeah. Man, I'd watch Heat of the Night on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I got.
We're also
to
on MeTV.
That's pretty good.
MeTV on there with all the old guys.
Yes.
They're in between Perry Mason and Gunsmoke reruns. You'll find in the Heat of the Night.
I could start quoting lines with you. I'll get right on that, Chief.
Oh, MeTV. I can proudly say I'm one of the youngest actors on that station.
And the only one is still alive.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to this to a subject here. President Biden apparently tomorrow night is going to give a speech, and it's being promoted and billed as probably the most important speech in America's history. Aren't they all? Aren't they all? This one is the biggest election ever, which I happen to believe it's a big one coming up. But in the speech, he's apparently not going to talk about the border, not going to talk about inflation, not going to talk about the war in Ukraine. I probably would guarantee he's going to talk about the
Build Back Better bill because you think he can resurrect that from the dead
Yes.
since he got his infrastructure bill passed. But we're being told that this speech on Thursday is going to be one that's been born out of a deep concern that our president has over the condition of our soul. It bothers him. It's keeping him awake at night. So much so that he felt he had to have a national address to address the deficiencies in our soul. A crisis of the nation's soul, if you will. And President Biden is going to give us, apparently, some advice on improving the condition of our soul, which he sees in great peril and threatening to become basically a soulless nation. And I'm just waiting on pins and needles for the wisdom of old Joe to help turn my soul around. I guess I should have been more observant. I didn't know I had one foot here and one the other in hell. But apparently I do, according to Joe, if I believe in having secure borders and lower taxes and having people employed rather than giving them free money and keeping them home, let them ruin their lives and their kids' lives. I don't know. That's just me. What do you think, Larry?
Larry.
And then we'll start with Guillermo. I mean,
Well,
what do you think about this?
I think the soulless nation probably started just about 2.5 years ago, when our friend Mr. Biden, President Biden, decided to run and to get into the race and then eventually wins. It's really interesting when you think about it. People who speak like that really give you a good indication that they're not really talking soul. And as a pastor, I certainly get that we've got to make decisions for our future, for eternity, things like that. But when you start using the term soul of the nation, and you haven't demonstrated having one, and that may be harsh, but you haven't demonstrated having one.
Very direct words, Mr. Powell.
Yeah, it just turns me off real quick. Real quick. So I'm not even going to listen to it.
I'm waiting breathlessly. I need help for my soul from Joe. I'm gonna pop me some popcorn. Haven't had any carbos in a while. I'm gonna just fixated on the TV.
Yeah.
I want him to feed my soul. Guillermo, what are you gonna be doing tomorrow?
Before you do that, Guillermo, I'm going to be watching MeTV. So
yeah, Heat of the Night rerun.
Heat of the Night rerun.
Right in between Perry Mason and Gunsmoke, I think.
Yeah,
and Alfred Hitchcock reruns.
I love it.
Oh.
But and on the same night, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh boy.
Remember that? All right, Joe, are you ready for your soul to be examined by Mr. Biden?
I don't know if I'm like Biden, but I can't hear can you guys hear me?
I hear you.
I don't know. I think my hearing is going out. Like I keep picking up the volume in the headset. Yeah, I am
hear
losing
you
my hearing.
perfectly.
I am losing my hearing.
Do you hear Guillermo?
It's a little low.
You're
A
low?
little low. All right, that's okay. I'll talk louder.
You
That's probably
scream
not a
loud.
good idea. Not a good idea.
Just scream like Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. This is for real.
Come on, man. Come on. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. There we go.
Yeah.
That sound a little better.
There you
Does that
go.
sound better?
So
I think
what's
it's, there we go. Yeah,
what's-
there. Whoa.
So, Soul Man. Oh, we got to get Soul Man up on some little bumper music. But
Hey, so when I looked at it's me.
Sam and
It's
Dave.
my hearing. Yeah, I think I'm losing my hearing. I wonder if there's an attorney I can call for that.
I'm sure there is.
I'm suing the radio industry for my hearing.
Well, Joe can't help your hearing, but he can help your soul, apparently.
Alan, when I heard about this on Monday, that he was going to be delivering an important address on Thursday, which is tomorrow, on the soul of our nation and the threats to democracy. And I thought to myself, well, number one, if it was that important, you think you'd go live that night? Because normally presidents go, you don't schedule these things out. It's spur of the moment.
Can Joe go
Right.
live on anything?
No, he can't.
Come on.
He can't.
Let's just lower our bar a little bit for the guy. Cut him a little slack.
He can't go live on very much of anything.
Well, you remember hearing
You better be on that 3-second radio delay up there. Let the screen go black as he starts leaning forward. He tells the controllers, go to nothing, go to black. And he leans forward about, let me tell you about your soul.
Yeah, if you go back in history, there's an interesting thing. It says basically, Calvin Coolidge died, and the quote on the paper was, "How do you know?" So,
That's what they say about me. Come on, Larry, you're dredging up.
Here's my thoughts on that. when I think about what he's going to say and why he's going to say it, I can't help but believe that, and it's very unfortunate. I think that the Democrats think America's really dumb, and it's insulting because we're not. Last time I checked, I'm not that smart, but I'm also not. I don't believe I'm dumb, but. Why are you laughing? Look at
No, I'm smiling because both parties have. I think there's more experience in the Democratic Party.
It is
that their followers are dumb. They treat them like sheep. That's why I'm an independent. And if the sheep get out of line, you bring the old electrical prod, get them back in place, or you get. But the soul. Let me ask you this: what do you think the reaction would be if President Trump said, "I'm going to give a speech this Thursday on the soul of the nation"? You know what would happen. You would have everybody from Warnock down in Georgia leading the charge. What does the man know about a soul? He's never never darkened the entryway of a church. Let me tell you about. And then CNN would follow suit, MSNBC. There would be outrage and ridicule that this man would even put his toe into a subject matter such as, I have more wisdom on your soul. Let me give you some good advice. Pastor Joe Biden talking about your soul. It would be, people would go apoplectic.
And this is, and I don't want to give the.
I've been looking for a way to use that word.
You used it very well.
Yeah, does it fit?
See,
I'm sitting around two really smart dudes.
I don't know.
I have a degree. I have a degree in something I know nothing about. Phys ed. So every time I use one of these words, I kind of look over there for approval, like I will say. No, but wouldn't they go nuts if Trump says, I'm going to tell you how to that your soul's really in crisis and you need to listen to me on how to make your soul more healthy.
This is all politics. I don't want to give the talking points that everyone's giving that, hey, listen, this is a stump speech. They just don't want to get clobbered in the midterms. Joe's just getting out there trying to CYA. But I want to dig deeper than that because this is a problem that the left and the right, and you're right, and the right see us all as mindless sheep. And there are people on both sides. Biden goes out there and says, democracy's in danger. Our soul of our nation is in peril. And then Trump goes out there and says, we're going to make it great again. It's those. It seems that we just believe both ends. Like we are mindless sheep. I don't know what this. I don't know why we're allowing our politics to devolve just on both sides. It's really maybe our soul is lost now that I think about it. Maybe
there's no definition, but is Joe Biden heretofore showing anything that remotely makes you believe he's qualified? I mean, for example, I understand what the country did. A lot of people who had voted for Trump the first time went for Joe Biden because, it just got kind of boring for folks. Historically low unemployment for African Americans and Hispanics and white people,
black colleges getting lots of money.
Historical black colleges getting more money than they ever had.
In history.
Energy independent for the first time in our history. And, our reputation on the world stage, North Korea was subdued. I'm not talking the crazy stuff again. And he takes out one of the top terrorists. And, you got all of this stuff. And they just got bored and said, you know what? Okay, the policies are right, but I want our president to be a nicer guy. We need a nicer guy in there. Well, the campaign started off, I can't do Cory Booker. He thinks he's Spartacus.
Yeah.
You got to know Amy Klobuchar because she's Senator Klobuchar. Her. Kamala Harris because, I can't stand that laugh for 4 years. I mean, you went down the line and, nullify. None of them's good. Let's go recruit Joe because he's a nice guy. Let me put this question forward to you because I bought into a little bit of that. Now, I didn't vote for Joe Biden, but I did kind of buy it. And then I caught myself, even before he was elected, going, wait a minute. Old guy, still kicking with a kind of a voice that kind of is grandfatherly and fatherly, kind of Reagan-esque on the outside. Is he really that on the inside? Is he really a nice guy? I'm not going to say a good man. Biblically, even Jesus said, when a guy ran up to Jesus and said, you're good. And he says, why do you call me good? Only the Father's good. So if he has humility enough. So I'm not going to, that's up for God about being a good man. But I think we can make some observations and determinations of whether he's a nice man. And when you look at the history of this guy, he is not a nice man.
Yeah.
No, he is not a nice man. You look at what and he continues to show that he's not a nice guy. I mean, this goes way back. He was brutal to Robert Bork during the Supreme Court hearings.
Yeah.
And Robert Bork, he was painted as this far right. He aligned with Thurgood Marshall on many opinions.
He'd be middle of the road today.
Absolutely. And they destroyed this man.
Yeah.
So then come up the next guy, Clarence Thomas. What attack dog did they let loose on Clarence, the Democratic Party? None other than Joe Biden. You can go on the YouTube and see what this proud black man, historical black man, had an impeccable history on the bench. Joe Biden comes in and tries to turn him into a dunce. So let's flash forward. Then he goes in and steals this fellow Kinnick's speech when he's running for president. Nice guys don't act like that. Then let's just look at him in the short time he's been as president. You know, Trump got in trouble for calling Rosie O'Donnell whatever fat. That was wrong. You should. But Joe Biden calls a reporter in New Hampshire, a female reporter, a dog-faced pony soldier for simply asking a tough question. Dog-faced pony shoulder soldier. Yeah, you know, you look at him talking to Peter Doocy, dumb SOB. You go down the line calling MAGA supporters Neanderthals.
A nice guy, huh?
You go down and you look at this.
Well, nice guys don't have.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I'm left. Well, I knew this long before he took office because this thought process started with me during the deal that I said, listen, you ain't going to be getting a nice guy. Number one, he hates Republicans.
Yeah.
When he goes, well, I'm bipartisan. Well, you know what he does after meeting with a Republican? I'm convinced he goes in and takes an hour and a half shower. Because he's got to get that conservatism off of him, that skank of being out there with Dick Armey and those guys like that, and Mitch McConnell. I mean, he's over there doing, Howie Mandel thing, getting is still on me. Jill, come here. Let me sniff your hair while you smell. I still got those conservative cooties all over me. But you had a 2-hour lunch with Mitch McConnell. That's why he didn't bribe it. He hates. It's obvious.
I got a simple question.
All right, I'll rest my case here. But you're going to tell me about being my soul? Come on.
How can you be a nice guy when you have family members who have made millions from communist governments, from foreign governments, all of those kind of things? That disqualifies you instantly. You have no soul.
Good point. And how can you have 4 American soldiers killed, murdered, and you don't even talk about it? You don't even address it.
There are too many disqualifiers for him.
You leave women and children to be raped and murdered as you retreat. Is that a nice guy?
Not even close.
I'm sorry, man. This is not, you know what, folks, you're going to vote in there. I'm just telling you. I think it's very clear. It's been clear for a long time.
Yeah, but
he is not a nice person. And it gets down and you say, well, you're nitpicking. No, come on. You don't sniff somebody's hair. You don't cup a woman's face that you don't know and get right down in there. Nice guys know better than that. You don't do that. And he doesn't seem to care.
Alan, here's what it goes back to what I was saying. Well, why do it? Why do we allow him to get away with it? And it's because you have people that are just so partisan that they'll forget about anything that the actual person says and says, nope, this time he's telling the truth. I think we don't, but I think average Americans, especially the ones that are voting, really worship their political leaders. I mean, that's why they're going to believe every single word he says. That's why the far progressive left listeners to CNN, MSNBC believe everything they say. He's got an audience.
Do you think they really believe it, or they say to themselves, look, he's not a nice guy, he's a liar, but he's less of a threat to democracy than any Republican candidate the opposing party puts up?
I think you got to talk numbers. I think you got to talk percentages, because I think if at least 50% of the conservatives believe it, they're going to keep shelling it out. You're right. He would.
We're talking about this, but Biden in particular. This whole thing because he got quite a few Republicans, a lot of independents. That's how he got the most votes in the history of a presidential election. Joe Biden was able to accomplish that feat. And he got it by convincing people that, look, I'm going to be a nice guy. You can't argue really against Trump's record if you care about America.
Well, I don't think he ran by saying I'm a nice guy. I think he ran on saying it's not them. Anyone but that.
They did.
I'm your guy.
Oh, he criticized Trump, how he insulted people, and it's very legitimate criticism. How he told the guy with the handicapped young man, individual reporter, and mimicked them, and the insulting things that the president either said out loud or tweeted.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you line them up next to what Joe Biden has said and done, and tell me, you don't put a name there. Just say what's said there. Just do your list here and list there, and let people perceptually say which one was Trump and which one's Biden. Because you're going to find that the stuff that Biden has said on a consistent basis is so non-presidential. Remember all that? Oh, he's not presidential. He's not a statesman. Look at the way he talks himself, the vulgarity, which is all wrong. Yeah. I wish we had a Reagan or a Kennedy, a person who could be tough and not have to act out and do that silly stuff Trump does. And Biden does. But you have a guy that's out-Trumped Trump in terms of insults.
You know what I call that? He's the political king of excuses. Okay, Biden has taken over for anybody else in all of our political history. He is the political king of excuses. He has a reason why he's not to blame. Somebody else is. It's always somebody else's excuse. And why his son shouldn't be punished. I mean, he's got more excuses than anybody I've ever that I've ever heard from a national stage talk about it. It's really insulting, is what it is. And we've allowed it to happen, the American people. That's the thing to me that drives me crazy. Is we haven't said stop it. How about taking the country first? Let's start looking for things for our people. Let's do the right thing. They just won't do it.
Well, I tell you, and we'll go to break here in just a second, this speech on the soul of the nation is without a doubt an attempt to capture the moral ground with this president and this party. That what they've done by not securing the border, we just had another little child drown going across the Rio Grande, the fentanyl just being shipped across there left and right, COVID coming into the country, this Ukrainian war, which has nothing but a disastrous ending coming forward to us, all the lives being lost there. They're going to try to convince you that they have the moral, that Joe Biden has the moral high ground. That if you just support his policies, an endless war in Ukraine, a out of control border, energy dependence on other countries, that the fact that we can, by 2035, supporting policies that you can get rid of every fossil burning fuel car that's out there, it's insanity. And you think it's all right to teach a kid that they're either a racist or non-racist at birth, that they're part of an oppressed group, an oppressor, and they're going to try to convince that. And he's going to try to use every bit of old man down home charm that he has.
Nice guy.
And we're going to see.
Heart.
And what scares me,
what the media does.
And what scares me, his only accomplishments have been the biggest spending in the shortest period of time of any president. $4 trillion spent on the so-called infrastructure bill. Where in the infrastructure bill is there more water treatment plants for rural South? Have you seen down in Mississippi?
Yeah.
Mississippi down there? Where in the infrastructure bill?
That's Trump's fault, though, remember?
Huh?
That's Trump's fault.
Yeah, that's Trump's fault.
Yeah.
You know, you see in there, you see billions to these nonprofits of which the names of you've never heard. And basically, it's just paybacks to political groups that'll study an issue to death about a water treatment plant and never build a single
water treatment
plant.
Yeah.
Larry knows he's dealt with bureaucracies. I've dealt with bureaucracies. Guillermo has railed against big bureaucracy since he got into radio. So we can do our part on this show. And I just want people to just keep an open mind. You talk about inculcation. We talked about that the other day. Inculcated into believing bad things that are wrong for you, but you repeat it enough, we start believing.
It becomes a part of you.
I want to try to inculcate you listening on this show, watching, You know what I want you? I want to try to inculcate you to think for yourself. To be able to say, I'm going to listen to what Autry says. If I don't agree with it, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with what Autry says. I'm going to listen to Biden. I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to value my own wisdom that I have here. I hope I inculcate you to believe that faith, family, and country are extremely important to the future of this country. I hope he inculcates you to believe that everybody deserves a fair chance, regardless of what condition they're born into, riches or poverty. I hope I can inculcate you that you don't get into wars that you have no reason why except to make money, that you stand against something like that. To me, those are good things. Somebody along the line inculcated that in me, and I wish I did. And I'm thankful for it. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you hear it all the time, and I'm going to get some wisdom from Larry and Guillermo, and you all, hopefully, this threat to democracy. See, I'm kind of a detailed guy. What exactly does that mean? Trump is a threat to democracy. So we're going to break it down and kind of specifically find out what those threats are. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat. We'll be right back.
So we're having trouble with our. Yesterday we were on air. Today we're not.
We're not on.
So I have a call into the company, and we're on. So
Yeah.
as soon as he gives me the signal, talk to the company.
It happens, man.
It shouldn't. Everything's finally right on our end.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, it's all of the.
Hey, Facebook, we're glad you're with us.
Yeah, we're glad you're with us.
We're
I
live
haven't-
with Facebook.
I haven't messed that up yet. New and improved is sometimes not always better.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
It takes a while to ride that new horse.
Well, this
I was
horse.
in on that this last scene I did with Sylvester Stallone over there at on the Tulsa
Tulsa.
King. I don't know if this. I guess I can't tell it because of non-disclosure
Not yet.
agreement.
Yeah, don't tell me.
No, it's actually a good story about it, but along the subject we're talking about,
Oh, that's-
non-political.
Let me tell you, you want to watch Tulsa King because Alan Autry is on.
The last episode of the season.
All right, I
So
love it.
if they like what I did enough,
Yeah.
then I may be in the second season.
Hey, call in, folks. Call in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
You got to give Guillermo a little love here. He's always looking for ways to improve the station. Have a little difficulty with our feed to the radio side of things. I think we're still on the Facebook. Yeah, I see some callers coming in there. We'll get to you here in just a second, hopefully. But anyway, he this is his baby here. He loves this station. He works harder than any man I've ever seen.
yeah, he's good.
He's Triple G. Go Guillermo.
Go, Guillermo. You know, Uncle Joe has kind of been able to project himself to the American public as Uncle Joe. Good old Uncle Joe. But boy, there's so many things on his list of things that Uncle Joe would never do.
Exactly.
You know, that
You know,
just
and
amazing.
we point these things out because I pointed out Lindsey Graham yesterday saying there's going to be riots in the street. You know, that's such a foolish thing to say
Oh, it is.
from a smart man. I mean, what separates him from Maxine Waters and Chuck Schumer saying Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, hurricanes, and you're not going to know what hit you and all this stuff. So we go after what we think is bad behavior, and we're welcome to be criticized. And I have been criticized for some of the things I've said on the show. And in retrospect, some I agreed with with the criticism,
Sure.
and I didn't. But Joe, dadgum, hey, and I'm all for policy over personality. Joe could call everybody a dog-faced pony soldier as long as his policies help the people of this country. Okay, that's where the thing we got in with Trump. You know, that they put personality over policy because we got soft. We felt the good old days of low unemployment, low gas prices, all secure, all this stuff was always going to be here. And we learned a big lesson. It can disappear, boom, just
Very
like
fast.
that, with bad policies.
I really like what you said, Alan. Let's put Trump's policies on a list and accomplishments. Let's put Biden's on a list and accomplishments, and then take the names off of them and see who knows who did what.
And in terms of behavior, the statements that they've made to people.
Amazing.
Because I'm with the folks. I want a higher level of statesmanship
Yes.
from our presidents.
Yep.
But you can't criticize something. I guess you can if you want to just be a hypocrite, and most politicians don't run from being a hypocrite like they used to.
Hey, it's
That
okay.
used-
It's okay
yeah.
now. In fact, it
It
may
used
be
to-
an advantage.
It used to be something.
Yeah.
Are we back on the air?
No, we're not. But
No,
we're ready to come back.
Oh, wait, it's right.
We're,
We
we're
don't
ready to
have-
come back to the air. Alan,
Okay.
We're
You know
back.
what? Let's go to James here. We're talking about the specifics of threat to democracy, but James been online. James, how you doing, buddy?
Well, how you doing, Alan? I'm doing fine. Anyhow, I wanted to just kick back to your first topic you spoke of, Gorbachev. You'll probably be amazed that I'm one of the few that can tell you that I talked with Mikhail Gorbachev through an interpreter when he came and delivered a lecture in Dallas, Texas
Wow.
in 2007. And what I asked him about was water sustenance. I told him I thought, in my opinion, it was a vital resource, which it is. Anyhow, I mentioned my grandparents back in Kansas, Nebraska had water wells, and they believed in dams, reservoirs, and keeping their wells clean and protecting against pollution, throwing
Yeah.
stuff in the rivers. And he agreed with that. And Alan, I'll tell you one other thing. He said his grandparents were Orthodox Christians, and he looked me in the eye and I'm back, and they had the same interpreter guy that he used with Reagan. And I really believe that Gorbachev was a closet Christian. What are
I
your
do
thoughts
too.
on that?
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you 100%, James. You listen to his quotes. I've heard some of the same things from him. It's obvious that he has faith. I mean, it would take supernatural faith in something else besides the communist system to do what he did. And him and Reagan became very good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Yeah,
Thanks for that, buddy. Appreciate that. That's yeah. I'm talking to the guy who talked to Gorbachev.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
He's talking about water. We're going to get back to democracy. We got about 15 minutes, but this water shortage thing in California, in particular, the Colorado River. Why can't people put politics out of the way, use common sense? I mean, how long do you have to suffer for this water crisis that we have every stinking year, and wait till reservoirs that we depend on go completely dry? Look what Israel did. Any coastal state should never have to worry about water. Just build your freaking desalination plants like Israel did and become a water exporter to the rest of the dry Middle East. Pretty good use for infrastructure funds. Are they in the bill? The infrastructure bill? Probably not. A lot of windmills over all this country, though. Those beautiful windmills that kill birds about 15 per second out there, which is great for the environment.
You don't get to see it though. Like
Huh?
the birds that go through it just happen so fast.
Oh, it happens so fast. It's a quick death.
I didn't want that.
Quick liberal death. They never know what hit them. They don't come back from it and learn to be a conservative pigeon.
They do not. No,
They're just dead. What happened? They're done. It's up to us to let the bird population know it's the liberals that did it. The woke left, but come on. I mean, and let me ask you this. I'm just a simple guy, simple logic, and maybe this wouldn't work, but I'd like somebody to tell me why it can't work. If Russia can build a freaking gas pipeline, under the ocean from Russia to Western Europe.
Yep.
Why can't we build water pipelines from regions of our country who have excess water, like in Mississippi, put it in a pipeline, and the snow melting in the mountains in other states, ship it to the other states who have water shortages?
What kind of pipeline is it?
The water pipeline.
But how big is the pipeline?
The experts figured that out.
What's it made out of?
Okay. I like your specific. Okay, it's made out of unpenetrable steel.
Is that who makes it? Where is it made?
Won't affect the environment.
Obviously, it would be made in China, or otherwise our government wouldn't make the deal. If it's made in America, it would go. So I don't care where it's made right now. Why would you not do? Oh, you got to take a call. Right in the middle of my tirade. This is what I mean. He's got to go out and take a call to get us back on radio. Oh, man. Larry, why can't you build a water pipeline infrastructure where you can turn on water and ship water like you do electricity with the grid? You can shut down the grid. We're getting ready to have rolling backouts. Yeah. Hey, Fresno's going to be too hot. They don't need it anywhere. They're a bunch of dumb farmers, farm laborers. Let's shut it off here.
Yeah.
Cut it off, then turn it back on. Why couldn't you do that?
Well, if you really look at it, the cost is in digging the hole, not in what you put in it. And so acquiring the land, the right to do it, all of those kind of things. But we could have done it and still can without any real impediment. There's a way to make it happen,
There's got to be a way to make that happen.
And we now Los Angeles, basically stole all the Colorado water, and now there's not enough water coming out of the Colorado. So
I've just given up on LA.
Yeah.
My second home. Was there for 8 years.
Yeah.
Feel like Garcetti. You've lost your mind. You've lost your collective mind.
We got to build a dam more dams in California, store the water we have, stop letting fish dictate whether or not we're going to keep water from going to the ocean. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer.
But Larry, let me just add to that, because we went through here. This was ground zero in terms of water and fish and the environment and that sort of thing, because we are the hands that feed the world. 2/3 of the vegetables come out of it.
This area with that whole.
Well, I was part of it. Part of the leadership, and proud to have done that. Such an uphill battle, which it shouldn't be. But they shut down all water deliveries from the Delta, pretty much. Not all, but certainly not sufficient enough
huge
releases.
Percentage.
Were not coming. Yeah, huge percentage. And Larry said, fish, it wasn't even about save the catfish. You'd get a lot of support in Mississippi for that, or save the big mouth bass. It was save the smelt. The smelt is a tiny little bitty fish, and they shut down all the water deliveries, impacted communities in the poorest of the poor. Jobs were lost, thousands and thousands of jobs lost, just immeasurable negative consequences on especially the Central Valley, because they wouldn't release the water to save the smelt. They said they were going into these fans that were pumping the water and chewing up the smelt, kind of like the pigeon in the windmill type thing. And then they find out, though, because we're always suspicious of this, that wasn't what was killing the smelt. What was killing the smelt mostly was sewage being pumped into the Delta from Northern California, from affluent cities on the Delta, and also the big mouth bass. They fed on the smelt. The number of smelt that were killed in those pumps were minuscule.
Go, bass, go.
So you wouldn't even talk about fish. It was a little bitty smelt and the what was causing their disappearance had nothing to do with the pumps that were pumping water here at Central Valley. Amazing how they're just flippantly going, okay. Well, let's go to Lane. You've been on. I just see you're on the phone. Lane, are you there, my dear? Hey, how you doing?
I am doing good.
How
are you gentlemen doing?
Good. How are things in Alabama?
They're going pretty good, I reckon.
I'm home from Alabama, mammy. Put on the eggs and hammy, mammy. I'm back to Alabama. Politically incorrect. I'm gonna get some.
The Casey and Vicky White case.
No, the Casey and Vicky White case. No,
the one where the guard ran off with the inmate.
Yes.
Well, they are currently charging Casey White with the murder of Vicky White.
Really?
Yes.
Well, dadgummit, bless her heart. Sometimes people are in prison because they belong there.
The death happened in Indiana.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's just such a tragic thing. I mean, matters of the heart, Larry, Lane, listeners, so I'm not going to ridicule this person at all. I'm not going to criticize because everybody yearns to find love. And sometimes you want it so bad, and dadgummit, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to feel special in somebody else's mind and heart? And sometimes you want it so bad, you fall for the wrong folks, wrong people.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to jump on the bandwagon and say things like, how could she? How crazy is that? All that stuff may apply, but to me, for some reason, it's understandable. I can understand why she did this. And it's just sad because we see what happened. And again, I say this, there is some, I just have a relative that just got out of prison, been over 30 years.
Wow.
He's a good guy. You say, huh, prison. He repeated the crimes, never violent crimes, but committed enough to be in prison. He just got out now, and it's a big joy. I'm going to go down and see him here real soon. And that's the case. But you know what? A lot, and he, I think, be the first one to tell you, a lot of people are in prison because they belong there. They don't, and they talk a really good game. You know, a really good game. I remember I was in North or South Dakota doing a movie about the only two guys that ever bust out of Folsom prison, Robbie Robinette and Ray Johnson. Bo Bridges starred in it with me.
Remember that?
Really, remember that movie? And in that, we were there at the prison, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time there to get used to it, play the character, you know. So I stayed there in the cell for a while, you know, and all that stuff. And then we were out on the exercise yard, and there was this blonde-haired, surfer-looking, good-looking young man came up to Bo and I, tears in his eyes, and said, "Can you please help me? So I've been falsely convicted. They say I killed my girlfriend. I didn't do that, and this and that," and very convincing. And Bo and I looked at each other after he left him, because, you know, we got to do something. Really, we got to have a cause here. You know, Reuben Hurricane Carter, Bob Dylan writing a song about to get him out of prison. You know, we got to do something in Hollywood. We're going to mobilize Hollywood because this is an injustice. Well, the next day, we're out there setting up a shot, and the inmates are playing basketball. And this kid goes up for a layup, and the guy fouls him. He's on the ground. The guy, he goes foul. The kid we were talking to goes, "This foul." The other guy says, "I didn't foul you." Well, this kid jumped to his feet. His face became beet red, the veins bulging out of his neck, eyeball bulging out, went after the guy and said, "I said it was a foul, you dirty." I won't tell you what he's saying. He went crazy. Bo and I are looking at him. Bo and I are looking at him. Now, this was over a foul. Okay? And you're thinking, the charge was you came home and found your wife with another person. If you get this worked up over a foul, and Bo and I looked him up, and Bo said, "You know, Alan, I think he's where he needs to be. What about you?" And I looked at him and I go, "Yeah, Bo, I think so."
We're just not going to tell him till you're out of here.
Exactly. I go, "You tell him, man. I don't want to be a liar, man." I think that's exactly what I said.
If he gets mad over a foul, if you say we ain't helping
mad enough to rip a guy's head off of you. Hey, Russ. Hey, Sonny, we got some news. We're not going to be able to mobilize that. But anyway, what I'm saying is, thanks for that update. I can't, Lane, I can't say that I'm surprised.
No.
Are you? I mean, it kind of crossed my mind.
Not really.
That he did her in, you know.
Yeah.
To hope, though. So.
But I also ask you for your prayers for September 7th. We've got something coming up. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
And let you know what's going on.
I'll put it on the prayer list.
But I ask your prayers for September 7th.
You got it. Thanks, Lane.
All right.
Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you, Lane. Love you.
Hey,
God
Alan,
bless you.
did you happen to notice that the airlines now are offering new vouchers for free meals and hotels if flights are canceled? There are several that are doing that because it has been a nightmare.
Yeah.
An absolute nightmare.
Well, flying back from OKC, they were doing that.
Were they?
Hey, under normal circumstances, I would have took it.
Yeah.
No, they were offering, American was offering a free round trip ticket anywhere.
Is that right?
Anywhere.
Wow.
I thought it was a continental United States. They said anywhere.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, inflation, demand of the public.
Yeah.
What? No, it has to be not the continental United States only. I want to be able to go to Tokyo.
Yeah. Maybe check out China.
I heard this one the other day. George Bush in heaven. George H. Bush. He's in heaven. He's walking around heaven, and there's Moses. He walks up to Moses and said, Hey, Moses, I just want to tell you, Moses runs off. Just runs off. So he's a little perplexed. So George is out enjoying the next day, and the beautiful things in heaven. And there's Moses again over there talking to some folks. He walks up. Hey, Moses, can I? Moses runs again. So you guessed it. The next day, George H. Bush is out walking around, and goes up to Moses. He says, Moses. And Moses sat there and looked at him and goes, I'm trying to talk to you. You know, why won't you talk to him? Moses says, well, last time I talked to a bush, I spent 40 years in the desert.
You have to know the Bible to understand that one, but it was good.
That's not a bad one.
No, it is. That's a good one.
Well, you got any others, Larry? We got 2 minutes to go here on Facebook. I love you folks. Thanks for tuning in. I tell you, I look better on radio.
Yeah.
But this is it.
Well,
70 years pushing. I want some of your genes. Look at this guy. He's just a handsome dude, and he's older than me. I know I look 10 years older than Larry, but
I've been blessed. But I'm married to one of the most beautiful women in the world. I don't think she's
Me too.
spent 10 minutes in the sun.
Yeah.
She has no wrinkles.
No, she's unbelievable.
75 plus. I mean,
yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, she's flawless.
Amazing. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
Just incredible.
It's the first thing you notice. It's like it just pops out. I go, my goodness.
Larry, did you marry somebody 20 years old?
Yeah, look at you a little sideways.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's
all good.
Something special. She
Well,
sure is.
This whole midterm election thing, and I know you've been covering it and stuff, but the midterm election thing is going to determine the future of America in the next, 6-8 weeks. We've got to make sure that folks who care about America get out and vote.
Yep.
Be informed and vote.
Yep. I agree 100%. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you so much. And I'm going to watch the speech. I normally don't, I'm not this critical of something that I haven't heard yet. I try not to do that, especially when people I haven't met. You hear, you've been there. You meet somebody and people are in your ear going, watch out for this so-and-so, watch out for that about it. And you try to keep an open mind because, people they can be different than what you're told. And I guess the same thing with the speech, except, it did kind of get my attention when it was told to me, they made the announcement to the whole country and the world, not just to me, that it was going to be a speech on our soul of America. Now, having said that, I hope I'm wrong on everything I just said today. I really do. I hope this speech on Thursday is
worthy of a president.
Is worthy of a president.
Yep.
And he owns up to some things and takes accountability for some things. And I hope that he's able to access that part of his soul.
It'll be great.
It'll be interesting. All right, folks. God bless you. God bless America. Remember, just do your best and let God do the rest, and it'll turn out the way it's supposed to. May not like what we like at the moment, but I guarantee in the long term, you'll be happy you trusted God with everything. Bye-bye now.